and welcome to Diet Talk with Dietitian Michelle, your food expert. And as you already know, this is a diet program where we talk about food and how food affects our health. I am Michelle Omadi. You can also call me Dietitian Michelle. So today, on Let's Talk series on Diet Talk, last episode I told you about a video that is trending and I have received it from different persons asking for my opinion. Dietitian Michelle, please, what do you think about this video? It's already trending, and if you have not seen the video, I assure you that you're going to get it any moment from now. You're going to see it and you're going to get worried over what you should eat. Now, the speaker in the video listed about 30 foods, and out of the 30 foods, he said people living with diabetes should not eat 16 foods. What should they now be eating? He said that they can only eat 13 out of all. Then 3 they should eat moderately. This is what bothered me the most about what the speaker said. He was silent on rice. He didn't say if they should eat rice or not. But he said that people living with diabetes should not even eat breadfruit. You know breadfruit, okwa. That is what Igbos call okwa. And he said they shouldn't eat it. A legume that dietitians promote and tell people living with diabetes to eat because it has a low glycemic index. But in this video, he discouraged them from eating breadfruit. He also said people living with diabetes should not take oranges. They shouldn't take pawpaw. They shouldn't even take watermelon in the name of high glycemic index. Now, how will they meet their nutrient requirements? How are they going to get vitamins and minerals? I hope you know that people living with diabetes need vitamins and minerals. Why should we encourage them to take fruit and vegetables? Infections can come in here and there. For someone else, they can just heal. But for someone with diabetes, let me tell you, if they don't have sufficient amount of vitamins and minerals in their system to boost their immunity to fight these infections, you'll find out that wounds take time to heal. In someone with diabetes, yes, wounds will take time to heal, especially when the sugar level is high, immunity is low, and you're wondering just a little cut. For someone else, in a day or two, they're already healed. But for someone with diabetes, their sugar level is high, then they are told don't take foods, don't take vegetables, their immunity is poor. How will they heal? So I'm really sad when I hear people take advantage of this and say what they shouldn't say. I like you to be careful who you listen to. Be very careful who you listen to, because if you listen to the wrong person and take wrong nutritional advice, it might lead into problem. Now, let me play the video.
Stop licking mango if you're diabetic or if you're pre-diabetic. I know this is the time of mango. Go to the market. You see everybody selling mango. If you're diabetic or you're pre-diabetic, stop licking mango. Mango has a glycemic index of 51. Listen. Normally, they said that any fruits that have glycemic index 55 below, that you should take it. But for me, I am telling you now, any fruit that is glycemic index is 49 below, you can go ahead and take it. I know why I'm saying 49 below. Normally, they say 55 below, but I know why I'm saying 49 below. Do you understand? Mango has a glycemic index of 51, and the glycemic index of 51 is higher than 49. So stop taking mango if you're diabetic. Another thing is this. Apple has a glycemic index of 36. Apple has a glycemic index of 36. You can take apple. Number 2, cucumber has a glycemic index of 15. You can take cucumber. Glycemic index of 15. I told you anything that is below 49 glycemic index, you can take it. Cucumber 15, you can take cucumber. Coconut 42. Coconut 42, you can take coconut, but moderately. You know 42 is getting higher. Remember that the highest is 49. Grape has a glycemic index of 53. If you grape, but also if you're diabetic or you have or you are pre-diabetic, but also if you grape. Tangerine has a glycemic index of 47. You can take tangerine, but you have to take it cautiously because 47 is almost close to 49. Tangerine is good, but you have to be very, very careful. Orange has a glycemic index of 50. Orange has a glycemic index of 50. 50 is higher than 49. I will advise you, do not take orange. Do not take orange. But remember that orange has fiber. That fiber might help. But I will advise you, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Honey has a glycemic index of 58. Honey has a glycemic index of 58. It is high. Stop taking honey. Some of you will be saying honey is natural, is natural. You'll be adding it in your tea, you'll be adding it in your milk in the morning as breakfast. In anguti. Instead of adding sugar, let me add honey. Honey has a glycemic index of 58. Do not take honey if you're diabetic or if you are pre-diabetic. Very, very important. Sugar has a glycemic index of 60. Sugar has glycemic index of 60. Do not take sugar if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Remember, honey is 58, sugar is 60. That means sugar and honey is almost the same thing. I am not saying that honey does not have other properties. Honey have anti-inflammatory properties. Honey have antioxidant properties. But these properties are good, yes. But do you know what? It has high glycemic index. Because of that, you should avoid it if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. It's what because I'm going to antioxidant. Yeah, leaving the glycemic index. Next, garden egg. Garden egg has a glycemic index of 38. Garden egg has a glycemic index of 38. 38 is below 49, so you can take garden egg. Garden egg is good for you if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Cashew nut. Cashew nut has a glycemic index of 25. Cashew nut has glycemic index of 25. That means you can take cashew nut. It's even very, very low. Imagine to have 25. Do you understand? Cashew nut is good for you. Cocoyam has a glycemic index of 55, and glycemic index of 55 is higher than 49. Cocoyam is not good for you. It has a high glycemic index. That is if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, if you like be eating cocoyam. My grandfather eats cocoyam. My this one eats cocoyam. The same grandfather of yours who every morning he will enter inside the bush or near a farm. He will go there and take fresh leaves and so on and so forth and eat the cocoyam. That is why his life is being prolonged. You will buy that cocoyam. After buying the cocoyam, after cooking the cocoyam, eat it with orange juice. You can buy orange juice with a cocoyam. You think you will stay long like them. Go and be eating now. Go and be eating. If you want to start eating cocoyam, go to the village and stay with them. Do like them. Eat whatever they eat. Go to the farm. Pluck fresh leaves. Fresh ogo leaves. Fresh akukofe. You understand? But as long as you are in the city and the way everything is artificial, we have artificial food and everything. It has a high glycemic index. Remember, I told you that any glycemic index, they usually say that glycemic index that is below 55 is okay. But for me, Prof. Habakkuk, I'm telling you that you should rate your own glycemic index from 49 below. From 49 below. I know why I'm telling you. Next. 3-leaf yam honor. 3-leaf yam, or you can call it sweet yam, has a glycemic index of 67. It has a glycemic index of 67. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, avoid it. If you want to eat, you must eat very, 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 very little. Or if you must eat sweet yam and so on and so forth, then make sure you take enough fiber tablet, as that is soluble fiber tablet, before you take it, or avoid it totally. Next, plantain. Plantain has a high a glycemic index of 40. Plantain has a glycemic index of 40. So you can take plantain. It's okay. At least 40 is below 49. Oatmeal has a glycemic index of 55. Oatmeal has a glycemic index of 55. Normally, you're not supposed to take oatmeal because the glycemic index is 55, which is high. But the reason why you are still encouraged to take oatmeal is because oatmeal is high in soluble fiber. The soluble fiber in oatmeal is high, and this soluble fiber helps to mop out sugar from the oatmeal and also help in limiting the process, or that is limiting the peristalsis, the level at which sugar is being absorbed. That is why oatmeal is allowed. If not, oatmeal has a high glycemic index. Do you understand? The glycemic index of plantain and oatmeal is different. Plantain is far better than oatmeal in terms of glycemic index, but oatmeal is playing a major role in the body because it has high soluble fiber, which will help to limit the sugar that is being absorbed in the system. Sweet potato has a glycemic index. Sweet potato has a high glycemic index of 54. I would advise you, if you have sugar or you're pre-diabetic, do not take sweet potato. The glycemic index of sweet potato is 54, which is high. Pear, ubi Igbo, that is pear, has a glycemic index of 20. It has a glycemic index of 20. In other words, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, you can take pear because the glycemic index is what? 20. Banana has a glycemic index of 52. This 52 is high. If you're diabetic or you are pre-diabetic, do not take banana. It has a high glycemic index of 52. But if you must take banana, remember I keep saying it, you must make sure you take it with granite, with enough granite. There is a reason. Granite helps to supplement the high glycemic index of banana to bring it to a bit low. And if you're taking banana, highest 4 or 5 sticks is okay for you with enough granite. In the absence of granite, are very close to banana. Carrot has a glycemic index of 35. In other words, you can take carrot, at least it is below 49. Carrot is very, very good if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Avocado pear has a glycemic index of 40. You can take avocado pear, at least it is below 49. So it is very, very good for you if you're diabetic or you are pre-diabetic. It's very, very okay for you. Pineapple has a glycemic index of 56. Do not take pineapple if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. It will spike your sugar level. Do not take it. The glycemic index of pineapple is 56. Pawpaw. Do not take pawpaw. Pawpaw has a glycemic index of 55. I don't encourage you to take pawpaw. It's above 49. I know why I'm saying this 49. Normally 50 or 55 below, but I know why I'm saying 49. Pawpaw, do not take pawpaw. If I've told you to take pawpaw before now, and you have been taking it, but today I am changing it. I know why I'm changing it. I've been giving you standard rate, but today I know why I'm giving you this rate, because we Nigerians, we overdo things. I know why I'm saying this. Pawpaw is 55. Do not take pawpaw if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Guava has a glycemic index of 32. You can take guava. It has a very low glycemic index. You can take guava. Tomatoes has a glycemic index of 38. So tomato is good. At least it's 38. It is very, very, very far below 49. You can take fresh tomatoes. African star apple Odara or Abalumo is very, very good. It has a glycemic index of 28. So you can take Abalumo, you can take Odara. It is very, very good for you because the glycemic index is 28, which is very, very low. Watermelon has a glycemic index of 68, which is high. Do not take watermelon if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic because it has a high glycemic index of 68. Do not take watermelon. It will spike your sugar level. Next, cashew. Cashew has a glycemic index of 31. You can take cashew. It is very, very okay. There's a difference between cashew nut and cashew. Cashew nut is 25, which is very, very good. Cashew itself is 31, which is very, very good. It has a low glycemic index. You can take cashew if you're diabetic or you are pre-diabetic. Sour soup has a glycemic index of 30.33. It is very, very good. You can take sour soup, but please, while taking sour soup, be moderate because it may spark sugar level. That is the only fruit that have a low glycemic index but still have the power to spike sugar level. But it is good. You can take sour soup, but moderately. Breadfruit okwa has a high glycemic index of 64. If you are taking okwa every time you like okwa, if you are diabetic or you are pre-diabetic, do not take okwa. Okwa will spike your sugar level. Do not take okwa if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic. Now, all these foods I mentioned, both food and fruit and so on and so forth, that have high glycemic index, I advise you do not take it if you're diabetic. The only condition you can take these fruits is if you have soluble fiber with you. If you've bought soluble fiber, I'm talking of the insoluble fiber. Remember, we have two types of fiber. We have the soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. What you need is soluble fiber. You must get soluble fiber. Like for example, now you want to lick pineapple. On a go and so on and so forth. Buy soluble fiber and keep. Do you understand? Before you lick that pineapple, tray soluble fiber. If it's like 5 or 6 or 7 tabs of soluble fiber, chew it with meaning, then you can now lick the pineapple, but lick very small quantity that will match the soluble fiber, so that once you get into your system, the soluble fiber will slow down the process at which it will digest and limit the amount of sugar that will be absorbed in your system and mops out the remaining part of the sugar. Do you understand? If you know there are some foods like okra and so on and so forth, all those foods you may love so much, but you have been asked to stop taking it because it have high glycemic index, the only thing you will do is just look for soluble fiber, either the tablet or the powder. Do you understand me? Very, very important. You take it before you take that. But even if you're taking soluble fiber, make sure that that particular food you are taking it in a very small quantity. Very, very, very important. Don't say that because you have soluble fiber, you have chew like 10 types of soluble fiber. You start eating. If the amount of food you eat is higher than the amount that the soluble fiber can hold, it can cause a lot of things, a lot of problems in your system. Do you understand?
Now I'm about to respond to every single thing that he has said to clarify some wrong notions. Number one, he said that you shouldn't take mango if you're diabetic because it has a glycemic index of 51. Let me explain what glycemic index means. Are you listening? I'll try my best to break it down so that you will understand what I'm trying to communicate. Glycemic index is the rate at which foods containing carbohydrates are converted to sugar in the body. Do you understand? So we are talking about foods that have carbohydrate, which means that we shouldn't bother about foods that don't have carbohydrate. Foods like avocado, the carbohydrate content there is so minimal that it shouldn't be mentioned when we are listing foods that contain glycemic index or foods that have high glycemic index or low glycemic index. Foods like avocado pear shouldn't appear there. Foods like ube pear that he talked about shouldn't even be there. So glycemic index, the rate at which foods containing carbohydrates are converted to sugar in the body. So when you eat any food containing carbohydrates and the rate of conversion happens very quickly. Let's say you have taken that food and in 30 minutes or 1 hour, your sugar is already pumped in the body. Then we will say that food has what? A high glycemic index. But if you eat that food containing carbohydrates and the sugar conversion happens slowly, it's converted slowly in the bloodstream, then we say that food has what? A low glycemic index. Now, if the rate of conversion is in between fast and slow, then we say it's in between. So the food has what? A moderate glycemic index. So the speaker, based on glycemic index, has listed foods to be eaten and foods not to be eaten, without putting into consideration that there are natural factors that can affect the glycemic index of foods. Now, what he's saying, you heard at the end that you should buy fiber tablets, buy soluble fiber tablets or soluble fiber powder from him, so that when you chew it can now reduce the glycemic index. But there are natural ways of reducing this glycemic index, and I'll tell you. Number one is that when you cook your food with oil, it reduces the glycemic index. So when you have yam and you cook it, you're going to add oil to it. The oil you're cooking with has reduced the glycemic index. When you add vegetables are rich in fiber. So when you add vegetables to your food, it does what? It reduces the glycemic index. Even the temperature, when you serve your food very hot, the glycemic index will be hot. But when you allow it to cool a bit, the glycemic index comes down. So can you see that we actually have natural ways of reducing glycemic index of food? And now he says, don't take mango. Mango has a glycemic index of 51. It's actually a range. Mango has a range. There are different species of mango. So which mango is he referring to? There are different species. There are different types of mangoes. And so it's a range ranging from 40 to 51. So people living with diabetes can take mangoes. They can take mangoes. Now, the ripe mango is going to have a higher glycemic index than the semi-ripe mango. So I would even advise that you go for the semi-ripe one. The very ripe ones will have a higher glycemic index, but that does not mean that you cannot take mangoes. You can take it in moderation, which is why we plan diet as dietitians and we tell you exactly how much you should eat. For someone, we can recommend 2 mangoes. For another person, it could be 1. For another person, it could be 3, depending on your unique circumstances. So for mangoes, for people living with diabetes, you can take mangoes. He said apple has glycemic index of 36, you can eat. Yes, cucumber is a vegetable, so naturally it has a low glycemic index, which is correct. Coconut has 42 as glycemic index. Why? Because it's rich in fats. You heard what I said about how fat can influence the glycemic index of food. So that explains why coconut has a low glycemic index. It is sweet, but the fat content has reduced the glycemic index. Grape has 53, you should run away. Don't run away. So long as you're taking it in moderation, it's fine. You're living with diabetes, you need vitamins, you need minerals. He says tangerine, you should take it carefully. Why? Because it's close to 49. Says who? Which research? Where did you go? How did you find it? So please, tangerine citrus helps boost your immunity. You can take it. Orange 50 says do not eat. Why should you not take orange? You need the fiber in orange, you need the vitamin C in orange, you need to boost your immunity. So if you're listening to me, you're diabetic or you have loved ones who are diabetic, please disregard this audio you just heard. Disregard the message in this video that you shouldn't take orange. You can't take orange. You need the vitamins, you need the minerals in oranges. Then honey and sugar, yes, they have high glycemic index. They are converted quickly. So this explains why we say do not take these ones. But if you must, take it in moderation and it's still fine. If you have someone, if you have a knowledgeable dietitian to plan, I've worked with a client who said, Dietitian Michelle, anything you want to plan in this diet, but I must take my tea with sugar. And guess what? We were able to achieve that because in the management of diabetes, I tell you, the quantity of carbohydrates is more important than the type of carbohydrates. Is that clear? The quantity. So if someone else eats just beans, because we say it has a low glycemic index and it's good for people living with diabetes, and the person takes too much beans, your sugar level will still not be controlled. Why? Because beans also contains carbohydrates. So if you eat more than your body can handle, the sugar will not be controlled. Another diabetic whose diet has been planned, the carbohydrate calculated for him, and sugar is even factored in, a cube or two, just for the person to live an enjoyable life. But at the end of the day, does not exceed his or her carbohydrate requirement, that person's sugar level, combined with medication, with exercise, with monitoring, will still be better than the person who is eating too much of beans. So it is not just the glycemic index, but the total amount of carbohydrate that you eat that matters. He said garden egg is 38. You should eat garden egg. Yes, garden egg is a vegetable. So naturally, it has a low glycemic index. So people living with diabetes, everybody can eat that. But do you know what? Let me even shock you. I've once worked with a client and garden egg wasn't good for his own system. Yes, garden egg wasn't good for him. So that explains why in the management of diabetes, your medication is key, very important. Your diet is very important. Then do you know what? Monitoring. You have to monitor your sugar level because what works for Mr. A may not work for Mr. B. Your body will determine. That is why it's called an individualized approach. It's not generalized. There is no one size fits all. So if you're diabetic, you need to know what works for you. So imagine if we didn't discover that garden egg wasn't good for this man. This is how we would have been going left, right, and center, wondering we have planned the best diet. Why is the sugar still not controlled? Until we discover what his body didn't like. Do you understand? So the total amount of carbohydrate is important. Monitoring is also important in the management of diabetes. Then he said cashew nut. Cashew nut is classified under fat. So why are we talking about carbohydrate and conversion? Cocoyam has fiber. Why should you stop eating cocoyam because you're diabetic? Please eat cocoyam. The fiber content in the cocoyam is good and it's going to help. The speaker also said that you shouldn't eat water yam. Water yam on that has 67. That is wrong. Water yam has a low glycemic index, about 24. It is the white yam, the regular yam, that has a glycemic index of 67. So I don't know where he got that figure from. But water yam that people living with diabetes are happy to eat because it has more water than carbohydrates, and now you have scared them because you want them to take what? Fiber, tablet, and chew before they eat. So water yam, I am happy to tell you, has a low glycemic index. It is the white regular yam that has a high glycemic index of 67, but still you can eat your yam and enjoy your yam. If you're cooking it with palm oil or you're going to make it and take it with sauce, there is going to be oil there. Then if you add vegetables to it, you have reduced it. When you even eat it with animal protein, you're reducing the glycemic index, so you can enjoy your food. Remember, it is the amount, the quantity of carbohydrates you're eating that you should be much more focused on. Then plantain 40 you should eat. Yes, I agree. Oatmeal 55 that you should eat because it's high in soluble fiber. Sweet potato 54 you should not eat. Why? Sweet potato that has a high fiber content, you can enjoy your sweet potato. Then pear, ube 20, that one is fat, so we shouldn't even be talking about glycemic index. Then banana of 52, he says is high, do not eat, but you can eat with enough granite. So I'm happy that at this point the speaker knows that granite or something containing fat or oil can reduce the glycemic index of food. So I'm happy he mentioned that you can take your banana with what? With granules. Why? Because the fat content in the nuts would help to reduce the glycemic index of the banana, so you can enjoy your banana living with diabetes. Then carrot is a vegetable, so it has a low glycemic index, you can enjoy. Avocado, pear, we don't even classify, we don't bother ourselves about its carbohydrate content. Pineapple, there are diabetics whose system reacts or responds negatively to pineapple. So for them, we will say don't take. But there are some who take pineapple and there is nothing wrong. So a lot depends on your own body system if you're diabetic. Don't follow someone's guideline or just follow someone's diet plan. What is your body telling you? What does your system tell you? That is what you should be listening to. So you see the doctor, you get your medication, you see dietitians, the right diet is planned for you, you get your glucometer, you are monitoring, you're checking how your body response to foods. That is how you can achieve good control in the management of diabetes. Then pawpaw has 55. That is what he said. You should not eat. Please eat pawpaw. You need the beta carotene, you need the vitamins, you need the antioxidants in this fruit for your immunity to be strong. Guava 32 has a low glycemic index. Tomato is a vegetable, so yes, glycemic index is low. Then African star apple, I think that is about that. Then watermelon, he said, is 68, so you should not eat. You know what the speaker fails to understand? Watermelon has what we call a low glycemic load. I hope I'm not confusing you. So it has a high glycemic index, yes, but it has a low glycemic load. So before you can eat watermelon and it will affect your sugar level adversely, you would have to eat about 2 big balls of watermelon. Why? Because it's full of water. So a slice of watermelon that you're going to take is not going to be a problem. You can manage your sugar level taking your slice of watermelon. So please don't stay away from it because it says it has a high glycemic index. In fact, my dad came back home one day saying that he went to run tests somewhere and the person there told him not to eat watermelon. It can raise sugar level. Can you see? So it has a high glycemic index, but it also has a low glycemic load. So you can eat your watermelon so long as you're not overeating, you're not taking too much, and your body is not unusually sensitive to watermelon. You can enjoy. Now, if glycemic index is the only reason that we are looking at in telling diabetics what to eat and what not to eat, then what do you have to say about ice cream? Ice cream has 38, which is a low glycemic index. So would you tell diabetics to eat it? No, of course not. Why? Because it has a low glycemic index, but it has what? A high glycemic load. So on that note, a little amount of ice cream taken, the carbohydrate content is so high, it can spike up the sugar level, and that will be a problem. So glycemic index is not the only factor we look at when recommending foods for people living with diabetes. Then cashew nuts and cashew fruits, good to go. Then soursop, he said you can take moderately. Then breadfruit, which is a legume. I strongly disagree with that point. The fiber content in breadfruits and in all legumes makes them excellent choice, excellent food in the management of diabetes. And so I hope you are clear on what you can eat and what you should avoid or limit in the management of diabetes. Welcome back. This is Diet Talk with Dietitian Michelle, your food expert. So we just talked about a video that is trending. Very soon you get that video, I assure you. But we'll still upload it on our YouTube channel so that you can listen to it again and listen to all that I said concerning the video. Glycemic index of food, that is not the only thing we put into consideration when planning diets in the management of diabetes. We'll factor in the total amount of carbohydrate that is consumed, which is important. And let me even tell you, have you heard about MEDEM? If you're diabetic or you have loved ones or family members who are diabetic, listen and listen carefully. MEDEM, all right? M stands for medications. E, exercise. D, diet therapy. E stands for exercise. Then M in MEDEM is what? Monitoring. If you get this right, let me tell you, you're going to be handling your sugar very well. I assure you, your medication, your drugs, that is not all you need in the management of diabetes. You need the medication, very important. You need to exercise. Yes, To control your sugar level, you need to exercise. Then you need diet therapy. Diet therapy is not the same as guidelines. Eat this, don't eat that. Remove this from your diet, add this to your diet. That is not diet therapy. You need to see dietitians. Your diet needs to be planned based on your drugs, based on your activity level, based on your sex, based on your weight, your body mass index. Many factors are put in place. Then your diet, a proper diet, is structured and planned for you. Then E stands for education. You need to acquire more knowledge. You need to know more. Now, imagine if you had heard this audio or video all by yourself. What would you have done? You would have taken out so many foods and fruits from your food, and you'll be wondering why you're not getting well. So education is important. You need somebody that can guide you, and I'm very happy to be that person if you give me the honor. Then M, monitoring. You need to have your glucometer if you're living with diabetes, so that you can monitor your sugar level, your body response to food. Now at Citadel Nutrition Consult, we are a team of experts, food experts. We are dietitians, well trained, and we have been doing this over and over again. We are here, we are available to help you. If you live in Jos, you can locate our office, Citadel Nutrition Consult, at Crispan Hotel, opposite Air Force Base, off Jonajang Expressway. When you walk in, just ask for the Citadel Nutrition Clinic and someone will direct you. It's opposite a big hall called Gowon Hall. We'll be very happy to work with you. You can also send a message, consultation, to any of these lines so that we can book your appointment. 0708 987 3497. or 0904 675 8079. If you're too busy to come to the clinic, or you are always busy, you can't even find time to come to our clinic, no problem. We also provide virtual consultations. We can work with you over the phone, just 45 minutes of your time. That is what we need, maximum 1 hour. And we'll be able to know your food history, we'll be able to see your test results, know what the problem is, and plan a diet. So you can visit our website, citadelnutritionconsult.com, to schedule a virtual consultation with a dietitian. And we have online courses available on the website, dietitianmichelle.com. Choose any course if it's on diabetes, so that you will know what it's all about, and the management, or even heart conditions, or cancer, or kidney, or obesity, underweight. You can find many courses there so that you can know what to eat and what not to eat. And if you own or direct a hospital, health insurance company, a gym, or even a hotel, we'd love to partner with you to provide nutritional service. Just fill out our partnership form on our website, or send partnership to this number, 0904 675 8079. Thank you for listening and being part of today's episode. Do you have people struggling with their diets around you? The best gift you can give to them is connecting them with Dietitian Michelle to help them gain clarity on what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. You know, they always say that knowledge is power, but in the management of diabetes, and in fact all diet-related conditions, I usually say it is not just power. Knowledge has become freedom for them. You need to see them and see how scared they are about eating. In fact, I remember one diabetic I counseled and planned his diet during the holiday period. I told him, look, I'm on holiday and I can't walk. He said, please, Dietitian Michelle, if you want me to celebrate this Christmas very well, you have to carry out this consultation. You need to plan my diet. And do you know what? After the session, he was happy. He was excited. He said, wow, Dietitian Michelle, you mean even as a diabetic I can eat rice? I said, yes. You mean I can still eat beans? Yes. You mean, so why are people afraid of seeing dietitians? I actually thought you would tell me it's only beans and plantain and cocoyam that I'll be eating. And I said, yes, we've gone past that period. Management of diabetes, we have advanced. Dietitians have advanced. It's no longer the old story that you're used to. It's no longer eat this, don't eat that. We are able to plan your diet with real meals and help you achieve results. He was happy, and I can tell you that this is how many months since then, and his sugar level is fine. He's doing well. He has gone to even check his glycated hemoglobin test in 3 months, and it has come down. He's happy, and so that is what I want for everyone living with diabetes. That freedom from fear is what I want for you. If you're diabetic, or if you know anyone who is diabetic, please tell them to connect with us. And I want you to also remember that on my social media handle, you're going to find a lot of useful content, useful information on nutrition. On Facebook, you're going to find me as Dietitian Michelle. On Instagram, it's still Dietitian Michelle. On TikTok, Dietitian Michelle. On Twitter, Dietitian Michi. And if you want to know my portfolio, if you want to know more about my qualifications, then check me out on LinkedIn, Michelle Omadi. And on YouTube, like Radio Mama has said, you're going to find a lot of useful information on non-stick pots, on basmati rice, on sugar, many information. You can even share. When you watch, listen, and it blesses you, share with somebody. I'm sure they'll be very happy to hear from you. Thank you very much. I'll see you again next week. Same time, Tuesday by 5 p.m. on Dr. Fish Radio. And until then, I advise you make wise food choices. Bye-bye and God bless you.